Well, hello everyone. Thank you so much for joining me. I am here today to do a quick class. Well, I don't know how quick it'll be, but we'll do our best. Going to be doing a class on the Notes and Totes Stampin' Up! Photopolymer bundle. So we're going to be using the Notes and Totes stamp set as well as the dies. The dies are fantastic. These all line up and coordinate with the stamps. Love it. We're also going to be using this Boho Vibes Designer Series paper. Thought it was really cute. Very, very interesting paper, and you'll see a lot of the patterns throughout the class. But before we get started, let me introduce myself. My name is Sherry Ozicki, and I am the owner and designer of Loved by Him Designs. And I have just a heart and a passion to share what I love doing. So, with that, let's get started with our class. All right, so I do have a lot of the bits and pieces already die cut out, only because there were so many things to die cut out. All right, so for those of you that have purchased the kit, all these pieces will already be pre-cut. All you need to do is some stamping. You will need to do some die cutting and some gluing and all that, and I'll go over all that as we go. All right, so a little disclaimer. There are some pieces that you need to prep ahead of time. Okay, so I'm going to tell you this ahead of time. So there's 2 cards in this kit that have the sunglasses. Okay, so instead of just having plain sunglasses, the part that you need to prep will be, and I've already done it ahead of time because it does take time to dry. So if you see these glasses, they look shiny. Whoop. They look shiny. You can see the glimmer as opposed to just the plain cardstock. So how I did that, and you're going to want to do this for 2 of the sunglasses, the lens part. Okay, so what I did was I had taken our fine tipped liquid glue, and all you do, and oh, should have brought that with me. Darn it. I'm not at my studio right now because we're having some fun internet issues. But what I did was pretend this is the glue. So you take your glue and you outline where you want to fill in. Okay, so you're going to go around the little hearts. All right, that's it. You're going to let that dry. That will take maybe about an hour to 2 hours. Okay, then once that is dry, you're going to take that same fine tip glue and fill everything else in. Okay, be generous with it. Now, by trial and error, it takes it takes overnight. Okay, exactly how many hours, I don't really know, but I will tell you after 1 hour, it was still tacky. After 2 hours, it was still tacky. So I left it overnight. So you fill it in and you get this fantastic shimmer to it. Absolutely love it. See, I'm trying to get the light to go in it, but you saw it before when I showed you. So you're going to need 2 of those. So in your kit, you already have them die cut out. So do that ahead of time. All right, so let's get to crafting. So we're going to take our card base and simply just fold this in half. So I hope that all made sense to you. If not, leave me a comment if you have any questions. All right, so our card is going to open this way. Okay, let's put our layers on. So I have already done some of the busy work on die cutting everything out, and I'll show you all the little bits. All right, so here is our, let's see, this is our Lost Lagoon. And then I die cut out some of that designer series paper. So you can see the different patterns. So we're going to be using this top pattern. So we'll take our adhesive. Put that right on there. And we're just going to line this up. All the measurements are in your tutorial. So your designer series paper, you will have to prep yourself. All right, so we have that. And we're just going to lay this flush onto our card base. Come on. There we go. And now you want to have like the yellow portion of it towards the bottom. Put that right in the center and press that down. All right. So then we're going to do some stamping. So let me get my little silicone mat here. Do some stamping. We're going to do 2 pieces here. This is, I believe, a 1x5. Let's get our stamp out. So we're going to be using the one with the little dots. Now with the photopolymer sets, if you've been watching my videos, I set them down flat and then I grab a block that best matches the size and I pick it up that way. All right, so I'm going to grab some crumb cake and we're just going to randomly stamp. Going to be kind of making like some sand, a sand element. So I'm not sure if we're going to need this second piece or not, but I have it just in case. There we go. And we'll just clean this off. Now this is one of our chamois. You can tell it's been well loved. The chamois, I believe, are in our catalog. They do stain, not a big deal, but when you wipe your stamp, it wipes all the ink off. And this, I just run under hot water with some like Dawn dish soap or any kind of dish soap and squeeze it out until the water comes clear. All right, so let me put this back. We'll just move that over. All right, so then what we're going to do is take one of the pieces and we're just going to tear. So you're going to tear towards you to make a torn edge. So I'm just going to tear. You're going to kind of want to go up and down because sand is not level, at least on the beaches I've been. Okay, so I don't think I'm going to need that. All right, so now what we're going to do is just take some adhesive and put it on the back and attach it to the bottom of our card. So we're just going to line that up. There we go. Okay, so now I said before I already die cut out a lot of the bits and pieces. So we have all kinds of fun stuff here, and I'll go over what they are. So this is the die that cuts out a little tote bag, okay? So all we're going to do with this is we are going to fold the side. We'll fold the bottom. It's going to make like a little pocket. All right, we'll fold this. And then we're just going to grab our snips and cut off this little bit here because we don't need that. Trim that off. All right. So we have all our pieces or our sides folded. All right. Now let's assemble the rest of our bag. Okay. Now you could use your fine tip glue. You could use your seal, or you could use liquid glue. So here I'm going to use some liquid glue. And let's hope I don't make like a huge, huge, huge mess. All right. So it die cuts out the pieces to the bag. So we have all our little bits here. So let me just show you with the dies. So this is the die for the bag, the tote bag. Here's the handle. Here's another handle. These pieces right here create like the, oh, I don't know what you want to call it, like the borders of the tote bag. You'll see what I'm talking about. I can't think of the word. Anyways, so we have that all cut out. So we're just going to add some adhesive to the back side. Less is more. You don't want it oozing all over. We're just going to place this at the bottom. Just like that. And because it's liquid glue, we want to hold it down for just a couple seconds here so it adheres. All right. So this is like one of the little straps. I'll put some glue on here. All right. I'll just put that at the bottom, and we're just going to follow this little seam here. There we go. Don't worry that it's hanging over. We'll take care of that. Oop, a little too much there. We'll just spread that out. There we go. We're going to cover this little seam here. There we go. Now, we don't need these little tabbies that are sticking up, so we're just going to trim them off. There we go. And move them over. Now we have our little handle. Now on this, you just want to put glue on the base. You don't want to put it on the handle part. So we're just going to put a little glue here, a little there. And we'll just put this right here in the center of our tote bag. Isn't that adorable? So you can make little treat boxes. So you would just die cut out 2 of these and then just glue them together. Isn't that cute? All right. So next we will attach this to our card base. Okay, so we're going to take our adhesive, just right on the edges. And then we're going to put a little bit here. We don't want to go towards the top because we're going to be tucking some items behind there. Okay, so we're going to take our tote bag and just put that right here in the center, just sitting on the sand. All right, so let's get the rest of our pieces. All right, so we're going to do a little stamping here. So this is one of the die cuts. I'm still trying to figure out exactly how this piece is being used, but we're going to wing it. So we have this. Now we need to put in our little sentiment, and this says, "Newsflash, you're fabulous." I'm sure we all know someone who is absolutely fabulous. All right, so I'm going to grab my block, pick that up, and we're going to stamp, and we're just going to put it right towards the top. So it's like a little newspaper. Okay. Now we have some other stamping to do. We're just going to put this on the side. So we have our little water bottle. Isn't that adorable? So I die cut that out. And then here's the little handle for the water bottle. Isn't that cute? Love it. All right, so we are going to need, oh, let's see. I think I forgot my black marker. That is okay. Let me see what I have in here on my desk. Sure, I have a black Sharpie of some sort. Well, it looks like I do not. Oh, here we go. Excuse me. Normally I would take my Stampin' Write marker, the black, but I forgot it at my studio. No worries. So we are just going to take a marker, and you use what you have. And just going to color the top of this to make it our cap. There we go. See, you use what you have. All right, now we are going to stamp on here. So I think we're going to grab some little flowers. So we'll grab this one. And we'll pick this up with our black. And we're going to use, let's see here, I don't think I need the crumb cake anymore. So we'll close this up. And I would like my petal pink. That nice and juiced up. And just one quick stamp. Just like that. Okay. Then we have a little more stamping to do on this card. So we'll let that sit there. Now we have, it looks like a little sun lotion bottle. So we'll put that here and we'll stamp. Actually, I think we'll use the same stamp. I'll just use a different color. So close those. And we'll use our Lost Lagoon. And we'll just stamp. Let's see what kind of flowers. Here we go. So we'll just do that portion of it. Love it. Okay, and I think that is all we have for stamping for right now. So we will move this on the side. I just want to give this a quick wipe so it has time to dry before we need it for the next card. So I just use some basic baby wipes. You can get these dollar store, Walmart, anywhere. And they're fairly cheap. Okay, so now let's put some of these pieces onto our card. All right, so here's our card base. Now we're going to take our little news flash and we're going to tuck that in, but we need to trim this down because this is just way too big. And I think we'll trim it here. And let's slide that in there. So I'll just put a little glue on the back. I'm just going to slide that in. Come on, get under there. Just so we can see the words. You are fabulous. Okay. Now, let's put in our little bottle. So we'll do the same thing. Actually, you know what? I think I'm going to put a little dimensional behind it just to give it a little something. Just going to use one because I want it to be able to tuck underneath here. So I'll just slide that in. Oh, it's a little too far down, so let's move that up just a little. There we go. So we have that. And I already die cut out this little shell. Isn't that cute? Some glue on there. You don't need a lot because it's tucked in. Put that there. And then let's put our little bottle together. So like I said, I already die cut out. Here's our little silver handle. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little bit of glue just right here on the back. Don't need a lot. It's a small little piece you're attaching. And, oh, I should have kept my mat out. But we're just going to take it and put it like right behind the bottle. Hold it there a couple seconds. We'll flip it, press it down. Just enough so the glue has a chance to adhere. And we're going to grab some dimensionals and add this to our card. All right, so I'll put one at the bottom, and then I'm going to put one where it's kind of covering the back of the little handle here, so it can help hold it on. Because this liquid glue, whew, I've had some nightmares with this stuff. All right, so we'll put this right about here on our card. All right, and then I have a little starfish. Let's put a little adhesive on there. Oh, lay that right there. All right, now let's put our sunglasses together. So by now, hopefully your sunglasses are dry. And let's see here. So in your kit, you'll already get these all die cut out. So we're going to put some glue on the back here. Now this would be good to use your fine tip glue, but I did not bring it with me. So I'm just going to put a little bit of glue. You don't need a lot. It's not like a huge, ginormous piece. So just little bits. Okay, now we're just going to flip it and just lay it down. Very easy, very simple. There we go. So let me just lift that up. So I just think it's so awesome with the shimmer of the lenses on there. See how that shimmers? Look at that. Isn't that awesome? That is so cool. And that's just from using the fine tip glue. Okay, so now we're going to attach this to our card. And we're just going to use a little bit of liquid glue on the back. And we will lay that right there. Give it a little hold. Just like that. All right. So now we are still not finished. We need to add some bling. So in your kit, you did get a package of the muted dots, the muted palette dots. Let's slide them out. And we will just sprinkle some of these on. One there. Oh, that's like weird. Okay, now I'm going to take two of the little ones and use them as like a little button on our bag. And we got the big one there. And here is our first card. So I hope you like that. Let me know what you think in the comments. All right. So I'll put this on the side and on to card number 2. Let's see here, move that. Again, I already put together some of the little bits and pieces, already pre-cut them out, but we're going to take our card base and fold it. Okay, then let's start layering. So I already die cut a label from the Nested, I think it's Nested Essentials dies. So I have that. We have our bag. Here's the other handle. So we have all our handles and our little trim for our bag. like that. Already die cut out the little scarf. Isn't that cute? And this was using the designer paper. All right, so let's attach our cardstock. Lost for words there. I think I need more coffee. It is early. All right, we're just going to center this right here in the middle. There we go. Now, let's see here. We have some more crumb cake. So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to do some speckles. Some little speckles. And grab our crumb cake again. We're just going to put some little sandy dots on here. Just randomly put them on. There we go. That is fabulous. Let's put that there. Okay, I don't think I need this anymore for this card. All right, so we're going to kind of do the same technique. We're going to rip. You're going to just tear your paper going up and down, just like that. Okay, so then we are going to take this and put this at the bottom. This is going to be our sandy beach again. And we'll just line that up at the very bottom. There we go. Kind of rough up the little fuzzy parts here from where you tore. Just take your nail and kind of swoosh it up a little. Okay, so let's put this onto our card base. We're just going to adhere this flat. Make sure your card opens the right way. One of my other videos, I didn't realize it until I was done. I put the card, I put everything backwards. I don't know how I did that. Must have been a blonder than I pay to be moment. All right, so we're going to take our label and we're going to stamp our sentiment. Excuse me. Okay, so we'll lay that down, pick it up with our block. And I think I'm going to use our new color, Secret Sea. I absolutely love this. It's not blue, it's not black, it's not gray. It's kind of a mix of all of them, which I think is fantastic. Stamp our sentiment right there. There we go. Give that a quick wipe. And then I need our little sunshine. So there's a little sun here. So we're going to use that. And we are going to use, what color? I have Daffodil Delight. Just put a little sunshine for a little beach bag. All right. We'll close that up before I make a big hot mess. And let's start putting some of our pieces together. So we have our bag, and again, we're going to fold the side, fold the bottom. Okay, and then we're going to fold the side here again. We're going to trim off this little piece here. There we go. And now let's give that a little press. And now we're going to put our little bag pieces, our little trim. So again, less is more on the glue. You really don't need a lot. Okay, line it up here at the bottom. Give it a little press to hold it so it can set for just a couple seconds. Bam, there you go. All right, here's one of the little straps. Some glue on there. We're going to attach it on the embossed seam. So when you die cut this out, it gives you another fold here. So you could fold it if you'd like to. But that's where we're going to cover with our little straps. That's right about there. And we'll flip and trim off what we don't need. You could always fold these over too if you wanted to. Okay. So now we need to add our handle. So we don't want to put adhesive on the entire handle. We just want to put it behind the base part of it. And we'll put our handle on. And give that a little press so it can set. All right, now let's attach it to our card. So we're going to grab our seal, just like we did on the other bag. Whoop. Sticky. Now we're not really putting anything inside this one, so we can put adhesive up a little higher. It's just sticking to my hands. All right, so we're just going to put this on our card. We're going to give it a little fun little angle here. So you could, if you'd like, trim off those sides that we folded, but I like to tuck them in because it kind of gives it a little lift. It's ever so slight. All right, we have our tag, our label. So we're just going to attach that, and it kind of slides under the little handle a little bit. Let's see here. Put that right about here. There we go. So that is on. Now we have the little scarf. Again, this was die cut out from the designer paper. Just put a little adhesive. And I'll put that right up here. There we go. Now, in your kit, you also have a full spool of ribbon. So you're going to take your ribbon, and this is the Secret C, and this is a faux linen ribbon. So it is a little stiffer than some of our other ribbons. So it makes it a little easier to work with, I guess. Just tie your bow, just kind of play with it. You don't want to pull it too tight because you kind of want to have it lay flat. But you do want it to stay together. Let's grab our scissors, angle the ribbon. Just like that. I think I'll make it just a tad smaller. And we'll trim the side down a bit. Okay. So now we're going to grab our mini glue dots. And now, because it is a wider ribbon, I'm going to grab a couple of them. And just lay it on the back of your bow. And there you go. There's that. Now let's grab some of our dots. Oh, we have our little starfish guy here. Just add a little liquid glue. Just like that, and we'll put that right about here. I love how all the colors coordinate with the designer paper. I think that's so cool. All right, so we'll grab our little dots, and I think we'll grab some of this green. I'll put one there, small one there, and we'll grab another large one and put that right about there. All right, so here is card number 2. All right, card number 3. So you're going to want to get all your little bits and pieces out. And again, there was a lot of die cutting. You should have the majority of it already die cut for you. So here is our card base. Let's just fold this in half. Now there's a lot more pieces to this card. There we go. Let's grab our bone folder wherever mine went. Give that a little press. All right, and we're going to put this on the side. I'm not attaching anything to it just yet. Okay, so we have lots of things to assemble first. So let's start with our bag. We'll fold these just like we did on the other. Give this here a little trim. Shoop, that's gone. Fold this. Okay, let's glue our bag trim. So once you get the hang of it, it does go fairly quick. I'm going to attach that to the bottom, just like that. Give it a little press. Good to go. Now we're going to grab our other little straps. Little glue. So here I was talking about the embossed part. So here you can kind of see that little seam. That's the part that we're putting the little straps on. Okay, so here's where we're using, this is the other card that we're using those sunglasses. So you would have want to have already had the glue set on your glass lenses. And now in your kit, you have the full pack of the designer series paper. So you can pick and choose what trim you would like to use. You don't have to use the exact same ones that I'm using. And trim that. There we go, just like that. And now we need our little handle. So again, we're just going to put it behind the 2 bigger sections of the handle. Right there and right there. Hold that. There we go. Okay, so let's put this on the side. We have that done. So now let's put our glasses together. So this is what your glasses start out as. This is, and you could very well just use just the black cardstock. But then you could have where it's super sparkly, where it looks like actual glass. I just think that's so fun. All right. So here we'll put some glue, little dots, little dabs. Come on. I just don't want it to like glob all over. There we go. Just like that. Okay, I don't want those. I want the fabulous sparkly ones. Lay that down. Line it up. Give it a little press so it stays. There we go. Okay, Our glasses are done. We'll set that over here by our bag. So we have our bag, we have our glasses. Now, let's put together the rest of these. So we want to put some adhesive on our little handle. We're going to do the handle a little different direction this time. So we're just going to put adhesive on the long part. We'll turn our bottle around. So the long part will go just right here at that little slit. Line that up. Make sure it's straight-ish. Here, whoop. Come on. Flip over. There, so we just put that on there like that. So that is set to go. This bottle was just die cut out of the designer paper. So put that there. And we're going to stamp a little bit on our sunblock stamp or sunblock bottle here. So we need to stamp. We're going to use the little flowers again. So I want to use my Cajun Craze. So it coordinates with our little sunglasses. We're just going to juice up a part of it. You don't need the whole thing because it's just going over a portion of the bottle. I'm just going to try and keep it in the center here. All right, and actually we'll keep this right here. We're going to grab our Cajun Craze markers. So we have our blends. So we're going to color the top and the bottom. We don't want to have a super boring piece here. Just color that in. Let's turn this. These dies are just really awesome. I just think this whole bundle is super cute. So if by chance you don't have this bundle, use what you have. I'm sure you might have something similar. But if not, you can always purchase the bits and pieces. All right, just clean that off. Let that dry for our next card. And you know what? Actually, I need that now. Ha! Oh, Ian, you know what? No, I'm going to use a piece of scratch paper because we are going to do some blending. All right. So we have some scratch paper. You're going to take your piece of the basic white and we're going to create a little bit of background. So we're going to take our Lost Lagoon. And where did I put my blending brush? Oh, here they are. All right, Lost Lagoon. So there's a couple different ways you can do this. You can take your stamp pad and squeeze, 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 press. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. And it will put ink on here. This was put on when I was water painting. Okay, so, or you can just take your blending brush, swoosh it on here like that, get it juiced up, start on some scrap paper, and then lightly come in on your cardstock with some light swooshies. That's the technical term, swooshies. And we're just going to go towards the bottom. You're not going all the way to the bottom. Okay, so that's probably all I want on here. All right, next I'm going to grab my crumb cake and grab a different blending brush. So I'm going to do the same thing. So I'll pick up some ink, pick up a little more. You always want to start on some scrap paper because you don't want these harsh lines on your card. And then just ever so slightly get that on your cardstock. I can blend up into the Lost Lagoon. There you go. Now, when you are done with all your coloring, your blending, to wash these, what I do is I will start with just some hot water. Just you use like the sprayer on your sink, let the water try and, you know, where it's almost running clear. Then again, take a little bit of dish soap and just rub it in the palm of your hand, and then you just work it in with your thumb or your fingers underneath the running water. You keep doing it until your water is clear or almost clear. And then I try to use the same blending brushes. So like this one was already washed. You can tell there's still some yellow staining on it. So I will use this one for any kind of yellows or oranges of that sort. And then like this one here, this was from blue. So it is cleaned, it's washed. It does stain. It happens. But I will typically use this for the blue color family. All right, so we have this. We'll put that on the side. So you definitely want the scrap paper because you don't want all this extra on your desk. All right, so let's start putting our little pieces together. So you're probably wondering, what are all these little white pieces? So these little white pieces are going to make a white picket fence. So cool. All right. So I had used, let me show you the dies. I had used this die, the large die. So it gives you 3 slats. Let me just pull that out. So it gives you 3 slats, fence slats, and then it gives you 1 of the thin ones that go across. So I die cut this out on the basic white. I die cut that out twice. So it'll give you 6 slats and then 2 of these, of the longer pieces. Okay. So you can see I have the thinner pieces. We'll put them on this side. So I have the 2. And then I have all my little fencing slats. So we are going to put our fencing slats on first. Okay. So we'll grab our little mat. Now, when I did my original card, I used glue. But for the sake of time, we'll just do our stamp and seal. Now, you don't want to put the glue all the way at the top of the center post, okay? And you'll see why. So we'll just put this one right in the center. And they don't have to be straight. They don't have to be perfect because fence posts just aren't. I mean, unless you're a very particular person. But the other fence posts, you can glue the entire thing. All right, I'll put that one there. Now we're not going to need all 6, so you could always use that for another card. Just want 5. See, and some of mine are up a little higher, some are down a little lower. And then we'll put this one on. All right, so on the die, if you want them perfectly straight, you can see these 3 little dots on each of them. You could line those up. I don't know if you can see them. So there's some at the top and then there's some at the bottom. You could always line them up that way. All right, so now we have our thin little pieces. And for these, we're going to use glue because it's so thin. Just going to put a little bit on there. Flip it over. Put it over those 3 little dots. Your pieces are going to hang over a little bit, and that is quite all right. All right, we want to make sure that this piece here still lifts up. Give that a little bend, and you'll see why. All right, here's our second thin board. Put that right over that. Little press. There we go. Okay, so now let's attach this to our card base. But before that, we're going to trim some of this excess fencing. Just trim. And if you want them to hang over, you could always line them up so that they do that. And now this is just going to lay flush on our card base. Oh, yes. Okay. So hopefully this doesn't go epically wrong. So I need to stamp my sentiment on here, and it's going to be rest and relax. And I should have stamped that on here before I put my fencing on, just in case I messed it up. So let me grab my block. Let's hope I don't mess this up. I would like my Cajun Craze. And let's hope for the best. All right. So we'll juice this up. Now we're going to stamp this right on top. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. Oh, it worked. Yay. All right. So don't do what I just did. You want to make sure you stamp your sentiment first before you attach your fencing, because in case it smudges. So in the event I smudged it, what I would do is I would take a piece of like white scrap paper, scrap cardstock, blend it up a little bit with my brushes, and then stamp and trim it out and then just plop it on top. So that's the beauty of paper. All right. So now we are going to attach our bag. So we'll grab our adhesive. I think I'm going to give this a little more of a press. So it lays flat, a little flatter. Okay, let's get some adhesive on here. Get under there. Oh my goodness, come on. It just does not want to cooperate with me today. There we go. And we're not sliding anything in it, so we can put the adhesive up at the top, just like that. Now, the reason I did not want you to put adhesive behind the top of the center is we're going to tuck the handle underneath it. Isn't that adorable? So it looks like it's hanging on the fence. Now, you could go back and put some adhesive on here now so it holds it down, but you really don't need to. All right, let's put the rest of our pieces on. So we have our little suntan lotion bottle. Let's put some glue on the back here. Ooh, that's a whole lot of glue, wasn't it? And we'll put that right around here, just like that. Now we'll grab our glasses. What I want to do with this one is grab our small dimensionals. So this had enough time to dry. Put that on the back. There we go. Peel that off. And then I'll put that right here like it's hanging. You know what? I think I'm going to move that over just a tad. There we go. Nice. Let's grab our other bottles. And we'll just put some adhesive on here. There we go. We got some glue on there. One bottle, and now we have our little pump bottle. I don't know what you would put in here to go to a beach. Maybe some hand sanitizer. You wash your hands before you have a sandwich. I don't know. All right, we'll put that right there. Make sure it's kind of straight-ish. There we go. Let's grab our dots. So here we'll use the petal pink. There's 1, 2, and put number 3. Where should we put number 3? Oh, let's put number 3. No, I don't want that there. There we go. Let's go there. All right, so here is card number 3. So I hope you like that one. All right, so we are on to our final card. This one is a very quick and easy card. I kind of saved this one for last, knowing that y'all would be pooped out. All right, so we're going to take our card base. This is our secret C. And we're going to just fold this in half. So in your kit, you will receive, or you should have received, the designer series paper, a full spool of ribbon, and a full sheet of the dots. And you'll get to make 2 of each of these cards. So you'll have a total of 8 cards for this particular class. All right, so here we will just add our adhesive. Super easy. There you go. Now we are going to stamp. So I will grab. Oop. So I die cut out these circles out of the stylish shapes. And we're just going to do a little bit of stamping on here, not much. We're going to use the little sand dots again. Pick that up. And I have our Daffodil Delight. We're just going to stamp some little dots. That's all. Super easy. There's that. And then we're going to do the Rest and Relax again. And I have our tag already out for that. And we're going to use our Secret C ink. And put that right in the center. There we go. Oh, I'm sorry. Relax and enjoy. All right. And so we have that. Now I already die cut out some of the little bottles to help with the time. So we have that, and we have that. We're going to use our little sandy dots again. Just going to juice up part of that. Put that on there. There we go. Now I want to use this flower here. I think that's really pretty. So we'll grab that. And we'll replace our sandy dots. And we're only going to use a portion of this stamp, so we're going to put that right about here. There we go. Oh, that didn't line up quite right, or it didn't stamp all the way. So what's nice about these photopolymer sets is you can go over it, so you can see through it and reline it up. All right, so let's put this together. Little pieces. There we go. All right, so we will start by adding this layer. So we're just going to grab our seal. Make sure our card opens the right way. Put that on here just like that. All right, so we're going to take some of this ribbon and we are going to use it behind our tag. Okay, so we're going to take some adhesive and put that right on the back so it holds it. We're just going to put some behind. There we go. Now we'll trim. I'm just going straight. If you want to trim it on an angle, feel free. Woo! That stuck to my gluey scissors. All right. Okay, so now we will take, let's put these pieces here together. Let's use some flat. Just going to put some seal on it to keep it flat. Put it right in the center as best you can. Some more adhesive on the back. And then this will go on our card base. All right, you want to put the little dots down. Just like that. All right, let's grab our label. Let's put some dimensionals on the back here. Give it just a little lift. You're going to want to stagger your dimensionals because the adhesive on the back of the dimensionals doesn't always stick to ribbon. So you want to make sure it's on the ribbon and on the cardstock. So we're going to use a few more dimensionals than what I would normally use. There we go, and put one more here. Okay, now we're going to flip this and we're going to put this at the bottom of our card. There we go. Now we have all these other pieces that I already die cut out, and we're going to put dimensionals behind all of them. So we'll just flip these over. We're going to use a little mini dimensional on that. We're just going to put that right in the center. Peel that backing off right away. So one on our shell, our seashell. Put one down here. Put one up here. And then we'll use two of them again right here. Oh, that kind of is like not where I want it. There we go. So you don't want to see that poking out. Okay, so I'll put one right there. We have our other little bottle. We have our seashell. And then we have our little starfish. All right, so let's put on some dots. Here, grab a large one right there. And put one here. There we go. Card number 4. All right, so these are the cards that we've made today. So in your kit, you will be able to make 2 of each of these cards. I just love these. I think these are just, this is such an adorable set. I love it. Here are the fantastic cards that we got to make today. So I really, really hope you enjoyed this class. Please put in the comments which one was your favorite card. All right. Well, that is all I have for you lovelies today. Thank you so much. Have a great rest of the day and God bless.